I've been really thinking a lot about the pedagogy framework that I'm coming at things with. And I've recently started playing a lot of Dungeons and Dragons
Hmm.
with my friends. And I've been have had an affinity for that stuff for a long time. It's basically like the only media I consume now is watching people play Dungeons and Dragons. So I'm what we call the dungeon master, which is kind of a like oppressive sounding term, but but the role of the dungeon master is to be the like kind of the manager of the world and the person who comes up with a lot of the story and they play the part of everyone except for the players who each play a one individual player in this vast world of monsters and magic and towns and cities and guards and all this stuff. And there's a shocking number of parallels to good teaching, in that you are a player in the game. So part of the whole point is for you to have fun. So if you're running a game and you hate it, even if players are having a great time, you're not doing what you need to do. Like you are situated in the game with a lot of responsibility, but also as someone who's supposed to be having fun with everyone there. That to me kind of gets at some of the nature of teaching in some contexts, where you have a lot of responsibility to make sure everyone can feel successful and to kind of participate in this experience that has a certain level of verisimilitude, where things seem real and the stakes seem real and you're not just going through the motions. But also, you're responsible for playing the game with the people at the table, not for the people at the table. Does that make sense?
Yes, having played a little bit of Dungeons and Dragons, it makes perfect sense to me. And I think it'll make sense to people who haven't played it, just that description you gave.
Perfect.
Just a quick note, verisimilitude means kind of lifelike for people who haven't come across that word. It's used frequently in qualitative stuff.
I'm so glad I used it right.
Yeah, no, you can tell that John is very well read. I'm just kind of picturing here, though, you introducing yourself at like the first meet the teacher night. You'd be like, "Hi, parent. I'm going to be your child's computer science dungeon master." Like,
Yeah, that would be awesome. That would go real well.
like, "Oh, great. We'll be signing
That's the
up
word
with-"
we've been looking for. It's not facilitator, it's dungeon master.
I think you could seriously write something about that. That is a really good way of describing it, how you are kind of designing the experience, but you're also playing the game itself. My wheels are spinning. I'll be thinking about this for days. So thank you.
And the nice thing is that if you ask anyone who DMs dungeon masters, if it's a lot of work, they'll tell you, yeah. And if you ask them, do you need to have some skills to bring to the table when you do this? They'll be like, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not an oppressive kind of, I just popped into the mic. It's not an oppressive kind of situation. It's not, I come in with all of this knowledge and I am the all-knowing being dispensing rules and perilous dungeon crawls from above. It's relational. It's a relational piece, and you're trying to generate fun and engagement and the feeling of progress. And that's so hard for a lot of people. And a lot of novice DMs come into the game and they feel like they either need to be like the encyclopedia, or they need to be the vengeful god smiting players from above.
Yep.
And neither of those are good approaches to teaching or any kind of gameplay.
Yeah, that parallels so many of the discussions in the previous interviews on the podcast. It just replaced
awesome.
DM with teacher facilitator.